Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Cogscast. My name is Klokwerk, and this is an introduction to a new series I'm choosing to call Kogwerks, where I plan on discussing advanced game design theories and their practical application in my game engine. I don't actually think I pronounced the word correctly, but nevertheless, I chose to call my game engine KW0.0. Apropos of nothing at all, I decided on this name based on my username, Klokwerk, which I chose because I'm a systemic games developer. Turns out I also accidentally named it based on a character from Todd McFarlane's Spawn series of graphic novels, where Cogliostro, or Cog, was Cain, the first murderer. This is ironic, seeing as I murdered the first copy of my engine. I'll get to this bit later on, I think. Apart from the occasional glaringly stupid mistake, I am something of a smartass and very experienced with games and game theory. I've been playing games since I was 5, started my addiction with the entry game, Super Mario Bros., and then went on to the hardcore stuff, Final Fantasy VII, and then had to go to rehab for an addiction to World of Warcraft. It's been a long struggle, but I finally broke free of the poison and went into development instead. Studying games not just for their entertainment value, but also for their design, their systems, and their core functionality. How they work, in short, and now I think it's high time I made good on my claims of being an awesome games developer by putting my fingers where my keyboard is and building something bitchin'. This is the result of my last effort towards that end. Well, it's not my entire games engine, it's what's left, after I fed my laptop a can of Red Bull. It got ill, and it died. No one told me they were allergic to caffeine, just no one bothered to mention it to me. It's like, do a guy a favour. I don't know why I never made backups to the source code in the cloud. To be honest, I thought I did, but when I checked on my usual dumping grounds, I couldn't find a copy of the complete engine, only cut down an incomplete version missing quite a few features, and this slightly further advanced executable, which includes just my camera class. Yeah, still kinda kicking myself about this, because it took bleeding ages to put this thing together, and now all I've got is this exe. Looking on the bright side though, I suppose I can simply replicate the features lost by checking out the exe itself and skipping the design stage. Besides, when stuff like this happens, I always console myself with the thought that I can make the new one better than the last. However, some of it was delicate and damn complicated, so it's probably going to take months to put everything back into place. Okay, I only have to do it once, but I've done it once already and didn't really envision doing it all again. But what can I do? Start again? Yeah, pretty much. That's about all I can do. So what do I actually plan on building? Well, as I say, I've studied games and I'm not a silly boy, so it's not an issue of what I can make, it's an issue of what I want to make. A strategy game? Role player? Platformer? How about a racer? Or a straight up fighting game? At this point in time, I'm not entirely sure. The thing about developers is that they each have their own areas of expertise, even if they sometimes forget what that is or what it actually means. Take for example Peter Molyneux. Started his career making some of the best strategy games of the age, Populous, Theme Park, Dungeon Keeper and so on. Then he moved from Bullfrog to Lionhead and ended up making several Fable titles, each of which are steadily getting worse by the game. I mean, if you played Fable 3, it's dreadful. If the man had stuck to developing strategy titles, I wonder what he would have made 15 years after Dungeon Keeper. And then there's Will Wright, who did 10 sim games including SimCity and The Sims, then wham, he went multi-genre with Spawn, didn't just hit the floor, but drove several miles into the bedrock. He's a strategy developer who tried to make a game which included 5 different life cycle stages, each of which had different gameplay and belonged to a different genre. It took someone else over at Maxis to take Spore's principal game mechanism of creature customization and put together Darkspore to make a coherent combat genre title out of the mess that was Spore. And yes, I'm aware of Wikipedia, it says Spore was a 9.0 and Darkspore was comparative 6. I have no idea why, Spore was a bleeding underdeveloped mess and Darkspore was actually playable and coherent. I think this is one of those instances where a skilled artisan thinks the uneducated masses are a bunch of monkeys. I'm not interested in sales or public opinion, I'm interested in craft quality. I mean, go ask Tim Schafer how Brutal Legend turned out for him. Bloody idiot should have stuck to doing role-playing titles with a super strong setting, not segued over the cliff trying for a strategy combat title which he and his had no experience in developing. For me, my genre is role-playing games, I think. I love high fantasy worlds, warriors of melee, rangers of skill, wizards of the art, dragons, golems, dwarves, elves, orcs, questing and loot, that's all my bag. strategy games too, resource management, in-game level editing, statistical character development, so on and so forth. It's all good. I love fantasy worlds, but I'm a systems developer, so the skill sets are transferable. This isn't to say that I can't do level user interface or combat system design, but a role-playing game with faction development is probably something I could do extremely well. Think Minecraft if made by the guys who built WoW and Civilizations, and you're probably in the ballpark of what I have in mind. Well, the same time zone anyway. Same planet, certainly. Anyway, how am I going to work YouTube into all of this? Well, I thought why not chronicle the development of my game on YouTube. Work on it, build something, talk about it, make a video, and then see what people think. You guys might get a kick out of seeing how it's done, and I can get some feedback to see if I'm doing it right. And sooner or later, I'll have made my game. Might be fun, and it's worth a shot, I feel. In addition to talking about my game's engine progress, I'm also considering making a second part to the show, consisting of games design topics. Game genre classification, quest objective categorization, programming as it applies to structure, etc, etc. Most of that will probably be over people's heads, but it's great practice for me to try to explain things to no less men. No offense meant. So yeah, this is the introduction to the series. Klokwerk is going to rebuild his game engine and post videos about it on YouTube. I'm also going to be keeping a blog featuring written content about what I'm going to be covering in my videos, so I'll put links down below so you can have a read of that. And that, I think, is about it for this introduction. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you've anything you'd like to say, then please leave a comment down below, tap that like button like he's being a naughty boy, and I'm going to go get to work on part 2. Have a simply marvellous day.